everybody.
Hey everyone.
Guess what?
What?
We are doing something new.
Oh, Emily.
Can you believe it?
No, actually I can't.
For those of you who don't know us already, my name is Emily.
And my name is Marin.
And we run a podcast about Twilight.
Right, it's called Remember Twilight. You might have heard of it. We talk about Twilight chapter by chapter. We do it weekly. It's a lovely little thing where we just talk about all the beauties of Twilight. Mm-hmm. But what are we doing now?
Well, it's been about a year since we started that podcast, and we decided we were ready to tackle, drumroll please, Harry freaking Potter.
I am so excited.
Me too.
Okay, not only have we pretty much always wanted to do Harry Potter, it was our first choice.
Yes.
For a podcast. But we love Harry Potter so much, and we had requests for Harry Potter. We had people say, why don't you guys do Harry Potter? And we even did like a poll, and Harry Potter got the most votes. And so even though there's kind of a saturation in the podcast world of Harry Potter podcasts,
we couldn't resist.
We are ready for it. We are here for it. We have prepared. We have talked about it. And we're coming at Harry Potter from kind of a different angle.
We have a couple things that are maybe a little bit different than some of the other Harry Potter podcasts you might listen to. First and foremost, and the one that will affect you the most, is we are going to be reading the books through the entire calendar year.
Right.
You heard me correctly.
Yeah.
It's going to take us from June until June to cover Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
It's kind of amazing because instead of doing like a weekly chapter by chapter thing like that, we are syncing up our episodes with the time that they actually happen in the book, which I think is just like so awesome. It means that we won't be doing a chapter episode every week, but we will be doing other things in between the weeks, because the other thing that we have decided to do as far as Harry Potter goes is come at it from a view of the relationships of the book. So every time we read a chapter, we're going to focus on the relationships of the people in that chapter. And how they interact with each other, and how they interact with Harry, and who these people are as relationships. This is something that I love to focus on when I read things, when I watch movies, when I watch shows. Literally the only thing I care about is relationships. Yeah. I'm like, story, psh.
Yeah, magic schmagic. Let's talk about Dumbledore.
Right, let's talk about why these relationships are the way they are, and how they go up and down, and it's going to be super cool.
Yeah.
In our like in between chapter episodes to really focus, like fine focus on these relationships and what is happening in the time that it's happening. And after the 7 years, to go back and be like, this is how much these relationships have changed and how much they have progressed, and maybe some fell apart and some grew way stronger. I am so excited about this.
Me too. Don't worry, guys. There's still going to be plenty of magic, spells, potions, places, whatever. We're not going to skip past anything, but the main focus is going to be on the characters.
Yes.
So I'm super excited. I hope you guys are excited. Should we do like a little bit of like a get to know us real quick here?
Yeah.
And maybe some of the more pressing matters of questions that new listeners may have for us. What's your Hogwarts house?
Okay, so I am firmly a Hufflepuff.
Me too.
I love to eat. I love to read. I love
my friends.
Yes, that's right. I love to have friends, and I love to foster relationships and make people comfortable and bring everybody in and have fun.
Heck yeah, dude. So this is going to be a double Hufflepuff kind of viewpoint.
Yeah. This is a perfect place for people who like to sit in a really big chair by a fire with a bag of snacks.
Oh, yeah. We love snacks. Let's see. What's your top 3 favorite Harry Potter characters?
Okay, so my definite favorite character is Hermione Weasley.
That's true.
That's true. Okay, my definite favorite character is Hermione Granger. She is a powerful female. She's a great friend. She's loyal. And she's sensitive and sweet and smart, and she's she's kind of everything I want to be. And then, of course, Ron Weasley, who could, like, not just cherish that boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I know this is kind of weird, but I have a deep love and affection for Lavender Brown. This girl, she loves a boy. She loves a hairdo. She is passionate, and
She loves a hairdo.
I love Lavender Brown. So,
Awesome.
What about you?
Number one on my list is Ron Weasley. He's the best friend anyone could ever want or hope to have. And I get so mad that people don't like Ron. So
That doesn't
if
make
you
any sense.
don't like Ron, stick around.
Yeah.
I got some things to say about him. Number two on my list is Draco Malfoy, who is a child of abuse and neglect, just like Harry is, but from a different standpoint. And he breaks my heart, and I can't wait to scream about him later. And I think third, and I've thought about my third place a lot, I think is Hagrid.
Oh.
Hagrid is the most underrated hero of this story, and he often gets overlooked and forgotten about, and so justice for Hagrid, man.
He's an angel.
Yep.
So now, what is your favorite Harry Potter book?
My favorite Harry Potter book is is Order of the Phoenix. Is my number one, which I know, not a very popular opinion.
Yeah, it's from what I've heard from a lot of people is that it's a little hard to read. I know where that is coming from. The battle in that book is classically confusing.
Yes.
There's a lot of like stuff happening all at the same time in many different places. But oh my gosh, the growth and the change and the loss and the grief and the learning that happens in that book is amazing. And it leads to the strength that they have to then go through books 6 and 7 and win the battle.
Yeah, it's the most heartbreaking part of it. Everyone's in a lot of pain, and I relate, so it's always been my favorite. It'll always be my favorite. Deathly Hallows is a close number 2.
Yeah, I love Deathly Hallows.
What's your favorite book?
My favorite book is The Prisoner of Azkaban. I love it. I love to get to where the kids are really becoming teenagers, which is one of my favorite things to read about and watch. And I love Sirius Black. When everybody meets back up at the end of the book, I love that Lupin is such a father figure throughout. I love that book. It's great, and the action in that book is very cool.
Yeah, totally. Favorite movie?
Well, I would logically say my favorite movie of the 8 is Deathly Hallows Part 2. I love the battle at Hogwarts. I love, oh my gosh, the amazing things that we will end up talking about. But because of who I am and what I am, I love to watch Harry Potter 4.
Me
Goblet
too,
of
dude.
Fire.
The
It's
hair
such a
is
charming
incredible.
and weird movie.
That's when the stripes begin and they never stop.
Stripes and Stripes alone. So much hair.
Cedric Cullen.
Cedric. Yeah, we've got our sweetie baby in there. It's just so amazing to watch.
Yeah, I think 6 is one of my favorite of the movies, and Deathly Hallows Part 2. Those are probably tied for me, but I love a good swoopy hair.
Perfect. Perfect. Let's talk about what made us and when we started reading the Harry Potter books.
Cool.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I was first introduced to Harry Potter when I was in 4th grade.
So,
And-
like 10?
10, maybe 9 or
Okay.
10. And we were listening to Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets in my class.
Good teacher.
She would play the audiobook at the end of every day.
Oh my gosh.
And we listened to that book pretty much all year because we would only spend about 20 minutes a day listening. And it was after 4th grade that I moved schools and houses and lives, basically. And so I was in this new school. I didn't have any friends. And so I started to read Harry Potter on my own, and I never stopped.
So you grew up with Harry Potter.
Yes.
Because the books were 1 through 4 were out by then.
Yes.
And you started reading them, and then when they would come out was when you were aging with the kids in the books. I'm so jealous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so jealous.
Really fun. As the movies were coming out, it was not exact to my
age.
Thank you. As far as like the releases go, but as far as like the years between the movies, I pretty much grew up, and the final movie came out the year I graduated high school.
Oh my gosh.
And so pretty much same timeline as Harry as far as getting to interact with him and having the same experiences as just a child as Harry was really, really magical.
That's so cool. I actually worked at a bookstore when the first Harry Potter book came out, and it wasn't selling very well. This was in the fall of 1998, I think. So I would sit, one of my favorite things to do at work was I'd be like, I'll go do the kiosk. It was a mall bookstore. And so I would go out into the hallway of the mall and set up my little kiosk of calendars. And I would run that so that I could read while I was working. And so one day I'd heard about Harry Potter a little bit, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just pick up the book and read it. And so I picked up Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and I just kind of started reading through the first chapter, and I couldn't really get into it. I was like, okay, I don't know, this is just and so I did that for about 3 days. And on the 4th day, I just remember, like, I picked up the book, I picked up Harry Potter, and I was like, I'm just gonna skip the first chapter. And so I kind of like skimmed through it because I'd read it a few times, and then I got into it, and after about 3 hours I was like almost done with the book, and I couldn't believe it. I went home and I told my mom all about it, and I told my little brother all about it, and I was so excited because I legitimately, it was the first time, and I'm a reader, and I've always been a reader. I read all through high school, elementary school, junior high. It was the first time that I had read a book that I was like, I know this is fiction, but it feels like it could be real. Mm-hmm. I was so sucked into this world of magic that I just couldn't, I could firmly imagine how it would be real. And so my mom's friend gave her this copy, that I have right now. It's an original edition. And of course, so we read it, my mom and I read it, and every time a new one would come out, her friend would buy her the new copy. And we would just read them, and we loved them. I remember I worked at a summer camp in 2000, and by then I think at least the first and second books were out, maybe the third. But still people weren't reading them like as much as they started to after that. But I dressed up as Harry Potter like 3 times that summer, and people were like, who are you dressed up as? And I'm like, I'm Harry Potter. And people were just kind of like, okay, you're weird. Like, but I just remember just feeling so connected to this world and feeling like it could have been real. Like, maybe it is real.
Yeah,
I loved that.
There's a line in the first chapter that sets it up so it could be real, and it's when McGonagall is talking to Dumbledore, and she says, why are we leaving him here? And he goes, because he's going to be the most famous person. Not a child in our world won't know his name.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, what if he's real and I'm just a muggle?
It is real and I'm just a muggle. Yep. So when Emily started reading them, and, we became close buddies, and it was another bonding thing with us, was Harry Potter, and watching the movies and going to the midnight releases of the movies and the books. Also a huge part of our lives, just like it was for Twilight. Yep. So, I love these books. I'm grateful for them. My kids love the movies. We were reading the books with them. They're magical. All right, so we would just love it if you guys would join us on our journey through Hogwarts. It's going to be quite the epic podcasting journey, and we are here for it.
Here for it. 7 years.
Yes.
Let's go.
7 years of going to Hogwarts and going through these relationships. We would love it if you would join us while we're doing the podcast. We're going to have some extra content up on the Patreon. We will also do merch for anybody who wants stuff. Tell us your ideas of what we should make and do.
Yes. And if this is your first introduction to us, you can learn more about us on our Instagram page. Remember, Harry Potter Podcast.
Oh my gosh.
And send us your questions. We love interacting with our listeners, so please never hesitate to message us about any thought you have ever, basically.
I know.
We want to hear it all.
I know. I'm always sending emails back to people who are like, I'm sorry to bother you, but I just really think that blah, 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 blah. And I'll immediately be like, oh my gosh, me too. I know exactly what you mean. And I write these big, long emails back. And I think people are always really surprised.
Yeah.
But
we
I
love you guys so much.
I love it.
And it's because of you that we're getting to do Harry Potter. So
yes.
Thank you, everyone who supported us up till now. We can't wait to get to know the rest of you that are soon to come.
I know. Thank you so much.
We'll see you guys in our first episode.
Okay. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.